Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
We're down the South Crofty tin mine. It was mined continuously for 406 years. It was the last working tin mine in Cornwall, and now it's going to restart.
Guys, I know that tin in Cornwall has been super sought after since the Bronze Age, since you need tin and copper to make bronze, right? And there aren't, tin was always famously difficult to find back then. And so that's cool how it's still...
We're going to go further.
Yeah, in ancient British. I'm basically describing what the title says. Sorry.
Down in the mine, but now it's going to restart. We're going to go further down in the mine, but Steve, the mine manager, rather concerningly, he's just left us here to go and find the chief executive.
South Crofty is part of a new wave of mining activity across England's southwestern tip. Tin, copper, tungsten and lithium, along with associated geothermal energy, are now high in demand because they're key to the shift to clean energy. For Cornwall, that offers the prospect of jobs and a chance at a secure future. For the UK, it's a test of the government's ability to come up with the money and vision to help revive the industry, and quickly before the country gets left behind.
We're here in Cornwall in the southwesternmost tip of England. We're actually closer to Ireland or to France here than we are to London. This is where the BBC filmed Poldark galloping across the cliff tops, and nothing says more than Cornwall than these buildings in front of us here. This is a former tin mine. It closed in 1914, but thanks to forces across the Atlantic, due to President Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, there are billions of subsidies going into clean energy and the energy transition, and that's being felt all around the world. And as a direct result of that, there's a renewed hope that the industry here could be reinvigorated. You just need to look at the ground and pick up some stones and you see the rich mineral deposits.
Cornwall was synonymous with the exploration and extraction of mineral wealth going back to at least Roman times. Mining, predominantly of copper and tin, peaked in the 1800s when Cornwall boasted some of the richest mines in the world, and their closure last century contributed to the region's relative economic decline. So the renewed global demand for Cornwall's resources holds out the promise of recovery. Tin's comeback is thanks in part to a European Union regulation that banned lead in solder, meaning tin became ubiquitous in electronic circuits. But what's really supercharged the industry are US-China tensions and Joe Biden's landmark climate legislation, equipped with some $369 billion of funding for clean energy projects. That, and China's dominance, is forcing governments the world over to secure the raw materials needed to compete. That's a golden opportunity for Cornwall with its long history of mining. And given the existing mine workings, it's an opportunity that comes with less environmental impact than elsewhere. Our first stop is South Crofty.
Crazy how lives and just like kind of culture and societies like thrive and pop up, and all these memories are made and people get married and everything, all because of an industry. And then when that industry inevitably goes away for whatever reason, it all disappeared. You can look at like the coal mining and like the Appalachians, or you can look at Detroit with the car industry. And it's crazy everywhere around the world where like just having one solid mineral or factory capacity can just create a whole, what's the word for it? Just all these lives in society just based on this one economic thing. I said that horribly, but I hope you get what I mean.
Our first stop is South Crofty, where Cornish Metals needs to pump out the water before it can restart mining. This is living history. South Crofty opened in 1592, and it was the last Cornish tin mine to close in 1998.
When the mine closed, the tin price was around $4,000 to $5,000 a ton. Yep. Today it's about $25,000 a ton. The International Tin Association is predicting that tin prices will rise to 30,000 or higher over the next 5 to 7 years, based on growing demand related to electrification.
The world is dependent on a handful of nations for tin, notably China, with no production at all currently in Europe or North America. So that really adds to the appeal of the high-grade tin in Cornwall. Another factor are the strict environmental standards in the UK that mean mining must be as sustainable as possible.
He's left us here at this demonstration project. You can see the vein that runs right along here, east to west, where they mined tin, just to show that it was viable. Hopefully it's the mine manager coming back.
We are lowering the pipe column with a submersible pump on the bottom into the shaft, down to about 360 metres below surface, and that will allow us to dewater the mine, start pumping the water out of the mine, treat it before discharging into the Red River. And then we plan to be in production, producing tin by the end of 2026. And South Crofty could be the first primary tin producer in Europe.
There's 8 million cubic metres of water in the mine at the moment. It will take around 18 months to pump out the water.
And they said cure it and then release it. And so it's water that is infused with too much stuff down there that it's not ecologically okay to release right away.
The UK published a critical minerals strategy stating the need to develop projects, but the criticism heard across Cornwall is that a strategy in itself is not enough to get a viable industry back up and running. Companies are looking for more government help, especially at a time when other countries seem to be racing ahead. Germany announced a state fund of as much as $1.1 billion to support critical mineral mining, while the EU launched a Critical Raw Materials Act in March. One of the companies calling for more action is Cornish Tin, which in addition to tin has now found reserves of lithium, a metal that's essential to batteries for electric vehicles.
What you're seeing here, these are all drill cores from our drilling program.
Can I touch one?
Yeah, it's quite resilient.
Yes.
This is granite, basically. We discovered here is that this granite, we knew it had relatively high relative to other granites, lithium content.
And so how do you see the outlook for the industry, not just for Cornish tin, but more broadly for Cornwall?
I think what's needed now is a coherent plan by the UK government to actually provide the infrastructure that's necessary to enable this to happen. It's a race that we're in danger of losing unless we act now. You know, I think in line with the government UK's critical minerals strategy that was recently published, the words are there, but we now need to see action.
It's really only within the past year to 18 months that these companies are seeing a more favourable investment climate. But while the geopolitical winds may be in their favour, these remain difficult journeys and nothing is set until the mine is open. Cornish Lithium is a case in point. Arguably the poster child of southwest England's mining potential, the company reckons it's sitting on the largest lithium deposit in Europe. But it's been under constant funding strain, only now receiving a significant investment of $67 million that allows it to press ahead with its plans. It takes about 2 kilometres of drilling deep into the earth to get to the sweet spot, where lithium is found in the water that permeates the granite. The idea is to use innovative methods to extract the lithium from the brine above ground, so without any traditional mining at all, or the environmental consequences. The idea is to use innovative methods to extract the lithium from the brine above ground, so without any traditional mining at all, or the environmental consequences that come with it. The convenient byproduct of all this is hot water.
Obviously, we're looking for lithium in geothermal waters, and what we're interested in is the fact that it's holy. So if you look at an example like this, it's got lots of little holes in it, and that's what allows the fluid flow through. At depth, that water is going to be hot. At 2 kilometres, you're talking 70 to 80 degrees centigrade. So you've got heat that can be applied to industry, housing developments, that sort of thing. In addition to that, we are trying to separate the lithium out of the water, so we'll potentially create quite a lot of water.
And the benefits of water heated at depth are not limited to this company. Just down the road, the UK's first geothermal energy pilot project is due to start generating electricity in 2024. It received £15 million of investment in March of 2023, and the government followed with £22 million more for a geothermal district heating network to be supplied by this plant.
So the same thing that people heat up water for steam to run, say, a nuclear power plant or anything else, really, is just you're accessing already super hot water down below. But how do you get that? Like, isn't it always like shifting the earth? And so can't you not? I don't know. I don't have the words to give my question perfectly.
Two plan to extract lithium from the mineral-rich water pumped from below.
And here, just over my shoulder.
Okay, so they're saying they want to pump very heated water, naturally thermally heated from under the earth, to come up and use that for energy, and then take that water that's coming from there and treat it to get the lithium and other stuff out of it. Okay.
These are the old workings, what they call tailings. It's
like your water pressure.
Shoulder. These are the old workings, what they call tailings. It's waste effectively from previous mine workings. They call these the Cornish Alps. And you can see over the whole landscape, it's just a landscape of industrial mining from the past. But here, Cornish Lithium aims to mine their own lithium in far more sustainable, environmentally friendly ways.
The geological promise here is evident, as is, according to the companies, the promise of sustainability. But the projects are yet to take off and make money. What's more, the announcement that Jaguar Land Rover parent Tata Group is building an EV battery plant up the road in Somerset could create huge demand for locally sourced critical minerals, such as those found here. The development of a responsible supply chain of critical minerals is a unique chance for Cornwall, but it's also a make-or-break time for the nation. Can industry and the government capitalise on this moment?
Is it fair, do you think, to say that there's something of a renaissance in the industry underway?
We've got regulations coming in, rules of origin, and that's making a push not only for the product, but from the product produced locally here in the UK. So the combination of those fresh eyes looking at the geology and those macroeconomic forces is a heady mix, and I think it has indeed resulted in a renaissance in mining, and long may it continue for Cornwall.
All this stuff around trade and just like economics and stocks is so fascinating to me. I don't know nearly enough as I'd like to know about it, but just knowing, like, you have to see what industries are dying, what's going well, what companies are doing okay, which minerals are likely to be good in future projects, and just thinking about all that stuff sounds kind of fun. Unless you do it wrong and you lose all your money. Anyways, interesting video. Hope you guys learned something or can teach me something in the comments. Love y'all. Hopefully you can like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye.